Okay, so let's do foodlogin.py in Flask. This is actually a bit of an extension on what we've already done. We've already done food.py, and we're going to extend it so that we can log in. So let's take our food.py code, I'll ignore that little description at the top, and copy it, and then go to, from food.py, and then food.login.py, we can start with this. Just as a base for what we're going to make. You might, maybe, if I type Python 3 foodlogin.py, you might realize an error that could happen. There's something that I've forgotten to do, but if I run it, it'll probably tell me anyway. There we go, seems to be running with the debugger on. And if I go here and refresh, yeah, there's the error. The error was template not found foods.html, which is also here. So it couldn't find that template. See here, it's requesting foods.html, but inside templates, there's nothing in there. So let's also copy foods.html. In order to copy this file, lots of different ways. You might find it easiest just to go File, Save As, and that will make a copy of it. And then I can go back up to blank, and then foodlogin.py. And remember, your HTML files must go into templates so it can find it. I'll still call it foods.html, why not? So now, hopefully, it doesn't appear. You might need to right click and refresh the file tree. There you go, and that should come up. There we go, there's our foods.html. So now I should be able to refresh, and hopefully foods.html will be found now, and the page should work just as it did for the last one. You know, pineapple. There we go. So that worked successfully. Now I can start adding the features. The specific features that I need are to restrict the favorite food page, so it requires a username. And if they don't have a username, it should redirect them to the login page. So this here, I'm going to put a comment. This won't affect how the program runs, but it's just a reminder for what I need to do. So this page should redirect to the login page if they are not logged in. They need to redirect to the login page. I don't actually have a login page. I've got a main page here, and I've got a save food page, but I don't have a login page. So let's make, maybe I'll put it down the bottom. Let's make a login page. So app.route/login, because this will be on the login route. I need to say what this function is called, and I'm just going to call it login because I am very creative. And I'm going to need a HTML page for this to render. So I will return render template. Remember, render template lets you send HTML files back to the browser. And I'll call this login.html. That's a sensible name, I think. It doesn't actually matter what you call it. You could call it banana waffle strawberry.html, but that would not be very sensible. That's a horrible name. So we're in foodlogin.py. So let's add a new template. One way, I can right click on that templates folder and go new file, and this should be called login.html. And it opens up for me as well. Or you can double click on it. Let's put some gibberish here just to check that things are working, and save this file with Command S or Control S. And let's have a look at our page now. It still doesn't redirect us because I haven't put any code to redirect them to the login page, but I should be able to type /login and get this page. Let's try it. /login. There we go. Excellent. My HTML page works. Because this is a login script, I'm going to need some way for them to, to log in, to enter their username and password. So let's make a form. I'm going to have an input here. It's just a text input. It needs to have a name so that I can find the value of this text input in Flask. I might call this username because it is going to be the username, and then I'll close that tag. With form, I need to say what action it needs to take, so what page it should send it to. Which route am I going to send them back to the, when they type their username, will I send them back to this page to process that? Will I send them somewhere else? I'm going to get them to send it back to login. So to do that, I'm going to have app.route login. So this, I guess, URL here will be used for two purposes. It'll be used so that they can enter their password or their username, but also so that when they click the submit button, which I should actually add, type equals submit. When they click the submit button, that it can process their username and save their username. So that action was /login. In Flask, we also use post generally. Just a look, fresh, there we go. So now I've got a thing, I can type, press submit. Currently it's not allowed because I need to finish off this bit. So app.route login, the reason it says not allowed is because I need to allow post. Oops. Methods equals, oh, what a schmozzle. There we go, post. So now if they first visit the page, it'll go here, but if they visit the page, if they submit data to the page, if they type in their username, it'll run this function. Now, I've actually done a little trap for early players here. I've made this function with the same name as this function. Let's have a look what happens. First, just so it doesn't complain about syntax, I'll say return hello, so it'll be a very boring page. It'll actually, oh, it's even crashed. There you go. It's had an error here. Let's run it again so we can get a more sensible error. View function mapping is overwriting an existing endpoint function login. Wow, what a confusing error. So there's two problems here. Number one, these two functions are both called login. I might call this login post. And the second problem is that there is no second problem. There's only one problem. Let's refresh. There we go. So my name is Mr. Ranieri. Submit. Excellent. So it takes me to this page. For a login script, I'm actually going to need to save that information somewhere. Flask lets us save things in a session. The way that we run a session is with this. I do session is a dictionary in Python, which means that it can store lots and lots of different properties. I want to save a property called username. For now, I'm just going to set that username to blah. We'll make it actually do something a bit later. This means every single time you visit any page on this website, any page, even 2 days from now, it'll have access to this session variable here. It'll have access to this whole session, it's called a dictionary, and it will have access to this value. So you can remember things between page visits, which we haven't been able to do before. To get the session working, there are a few other components as well. We need to set a secret key. This is a security thing of Flask. If you're using sessions, I won't go into details, but basically it should be random. So you can literally just type gibberish. Another thing that might be useful, to actually print the value of session. We'll just run for now. For now, there should be no change. My site should still work as normal, but it's saving, behind the scenes, it's saving this variable called session username. Any other time that you visit the page, you can actually access that session variable. Maybe on the main page, I might print the contents of session. Print session is, and then I'll print the Flask session, the value of session. Let's run our script again, because it looks like, yeah, it's crashed. Run it again. Oh, it's complaining. Where's it complaining? Line 13, inconsistent use of tabs and spaces. So line 13. I think I know what the problem is, although it is a confusing problem. Let's just get these and re-indent them. Hopefully you don't have that problem. There we go. So let's try again, Mr. Ranieri, submit. Again, it sends us back to this login page that doesn't really do anything except save this session variable. However, on my main page, it should print what the session is to the console. So let's go back to the main page. See, it should do print session is, and then it should print the contents of session. Let's have a look. There we go. Session is secure cookie session, username, blah. So it is saved in session. Excellent. This is good because this means that I can say if, what should we do? If the username is not in session, so if they've never actually set their username, then what should we do? We want to redirect them to this page. So we can do redirect, return redirect /login. There you go. So if they haven't set their username, take them back to the login page. Now, if I refresh, I believe I have set my session. Because remember, even if you restart your server, the session will still be there. If you're not sure what's in the session or if you have a session set, just do print session and check the terminal. So I'll save that, refresh, there we go. So that my session is still set. If I close this browser and bring it up again, it will still be there. You might be thinking then, how do I test it? Because I want to get rid of this session. I want to check that it works. I want to check that if I haven't logged in yet, that it will redirect me to this login page. One way to do that is with an incognito window, which is Control-Shift-N in Chrome. Oops. Hopefully. Yeah, alternatively. Didn't seem to work. You should be able to do incognito window. Otherwise, try getting your developer tools up by clicking the arrow, more tools, and then developer tools. And then you can go all the way over to application, and then to cookies, and then to your page, and just delete the cookies. You'll find it a lot easier whenever you're testing and you want to, reset everything. Just open an incognito window in Chrome. Unfortunately, I can't do that, but I think you'll find that easier than resetting the cookies. So, if I reset the page, there will no longer be a session because, as far as the website's concerned, I'm a completely new user. So I'll reload the page and hopefully username won't be in session, so it'll redirect me to login. Also, before that, it should print the contents of session, which will probably be blank. Refresh. Ooh, that's good. It did redirect me successfully because username wasn't set yet. This is how you check if a session variable was not set yet. And this session has nothing in it. Excellent, it works properly. And if I set my name now, so whenever I try to visit that main page, it redirects me immediately. I can't look at the messages without logging in. But if I log in with anything and press submit, now that session has been saved. It's saved session username equals blah, and then it said this message. So now I can visit this page. More useful actions, maybe instead of returning hello, maybe let's just redirect them to the main page because it's kind of annoying when you log in and then it just says hello and you can't do anything. So let's redirect them to the main page. Redirect to the main page, which is just slash, will be helpful. What is your favorite food? There we go. So now if I log in, with any username, it'll send me back to the main page. All right, still not done yet. We want to show the username on this page. So on this page here, we should show the username. This page here is this one. So when I return template, as well as saving fave foods, I also want to save the username. I want to send the username to, where is it? To this page here. I want to print your username is, and then whatever their username is. This will cause a problem because I haven't actually, save this, this is our foods. I've only got fave foods as a variable that I'm sending to my HTML file. I don't yet have username. So let's set username equals username. Now it will complain because there is no variable called username. So let's set that. Username equals, there we go, session username. This is both how you can retrieve something from a session, but also set something in a session. So this will retrieve whatever their username is from that session, from the cookie that the client has sent, and it will save it in this variable. And then this line here, by the way, this line here will send that username to the HTML file. Okay. By the way, the only reason I've got this on a new line is just because it didn't fit. You could very easily put this at the end on one line, but it didn't fit for me, so I'll just put it there. All right. Hopefully it says the username. If I run my page again, awesome. Your username is blah. So that's because it's retrieved here, saved in the username variable, then the username variable is sent to the HTML file, and the HTML file prints it there. It's a big flow of data. Some of you might have noticed, hang on though, Mr. Ineri, that's not quite right, because that's not what your name was. If your name was, I don't know, Joe Banana Strawberry, which is a beautiful name, and you press submit, it still says your username is blah. Why is that? Well, that's because when I set the session, I just set it to blah, no matter what they entered. You may remember that we can get things that the users have entered on a form. So if the user has a, where's that little form? There you go, user has a form here. So it is a form, so we can get the thing that is called username. You hear that? Get the thing from the form called username. Like this, request.form.get, oops, username. So that's what we can put here, request.form.get username. Save. So now it will actually do whatever they entered. Let's go /login, username equals blah, 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 submit. Excellent. And it works successfully. So let's check. Have we asked the user to log in? Yes. If they visit the site without having been there before, which I'll simulate, developer tools, application, cookies, clear the cookies. There we go. So yes, it redirects them using this code here. If it hasn't been set, it redirects them. Have we restricted the favorite food page? Yes, which is the main page. It redirects them immediately. And do we show the username? Mr. Ranieri. Submit. Yes, it shows the username there. Awesome, we did it. So good luck in the final two challenges. Yeah, have lots of fun, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video.